Hello guys, we have an 8-gamer for Friday, starting off with Orlando at Boston. For the Orlando side, they are a little bit healthier. They have gotten like James Ennis back, but again, they still have Fournier, Michael Carter-Williams, and Jonathan Isaac. Fultz, those guys are still going to be out. So with the main guys, I think Vucevic is the only guy that I'll have interest in. At 9K, Boston is going to be very short-handed, especially, just everywhere. Like, they actually only have Tristan Thompson and Taco Fall available as their big men right now, so Vucevic should be able to dominate, and still, just with all these injuries that they do have, the usage should go to him. He should be leading the way. Aaron Gordon, 7,300. I want to play this guy, but at 7,300, it's a little bit too expensive for me. His minutes have been a lot better, but Boston, both of these teams, they just play slow. And even though Boston's missing a lot of guys like Marcus Smart, he's still going to be in there, a good defender. So it's tough to get to any of these Magic guys. For the Boston side, we have to watch if these questionable guys are going to play. I'm leaning towards no because they were supposed to miss this game. Now they're questionable, so we still have to monitor that. But if they are out, then Marcus Smart 7,600, he's going to be in play. The price tag is pretty high for Marcus Smart, but this is someone who will just chuck. Like, without Brown and Tatum, he could possibly take like 20 plus shots, and he's someone who rebounds. He's going to have to handle the ball, gets defensive stats. Even in tough match against Orlando, he just has a pretty good ceiling if these guys are all out. And then again, if everyone's out, Tristan Thompson, he's probably going to have to play a lot of center minutes because Taco, he did play 19, which is a good amount, but they might have to play both of them together at some points because they just don't have big men. Grant Williams is their only other guy that has some size, but everyone else is a guard. Like Marcus Smart, he can play some power forward minutes. Like with this matchup against Aaron Gordon, he can do it. But other than that, like you look at Pritchard, Teague, Waters, Naismith, these guys just do not have size. So Thompson, he looks pretty good for 4,800 if Tyson, all these other guys are going to be out. Now, Pritchard and Teague, they're going to be pretty good. I prefer these guys over Smart because they're just 3K cheaper, and I don't think the upside is that much different. I think Pritchard could probably play more minutes than Teague, but they still both have to play big minutes. They're guys that can play make, they can all score, and I just think the minutes, that's what really stands out, even though it is against Orlando. And then for everyone else, Grant Williams, he's not productive, but he might have to play like 35 minutes. He probably starts if all these guys are going to be out, so he's totally fine. Taco, he's productive, but his minutes just aren't going to be there. So opportunity cost for center is just something that it's going to be a problem. So keep an eye on Waters, Naismith, depending on what their lineup is, who's available. New York side, Obi Toppin, he's probably going to be able to play more minutes than he usually can. Alec Burks is still going to be out, so that's going to make guys like Alfred Payne, RJ Barrett, dudes who handle the ball still in play. I don't think Alfred at 6.8K is that great, but I think Barrett, he's okay. Again, just he's not a good shooter, but when shots do fall, he's definitely someone that can have some solid upside. Randle, probably going to be the only guy that I go to with any amount of like confidence in because this matchup against Cleveland, Cleveland's defense has been like pretty solid actually, but you look at Randle, what he's been doing like so far, his minutes are just so high up there. He has just all the freedom in the world to chuck as many shots as he wants. He rebounds, he handles the ball, he gets assists now. So yeah, you look back at the game against Cleveland, like that score, these two teams play really slow, and defensively they're not like horrible. So yeah, I'm not going to say that we should expect a 63-point game again, but he's 9,100. He doesn't need to get that. And then that's pretty much it for New York. Cleveland side, I don't expect him to have the newcomers on this team already ready to play. So I do think Drummond should be able to play his usual minutes. There's definitely some risk. He's more of a tournament play, I would say, because sometimes he does lose minutes. Like, he has a pretty short leash, I would say, like with foul trouble and JaVale McGee. Like, the coach isn't afraid to just bench him. But Drummond, if he gets his minutes, the Knicks have been pretty bad against centers. So this is a spot where Drummond can definitely get a lot of blocks and steals, which he does do a good job of that. So I like this matchup for Drummond. And then with Sexton still out, Osman, but he's priced up. Nance, he's a little bit cheaper now, but still, he's just not someone I really go to when he's this priced up. For Dallas, I like this game quite a bit because Milwaukee, anytime that they have to play in a close game, it just makes Giannis, all these other main Buck starters, a lot more in play. With a close game, Porzingis being back, I do think Luka is going to be a pretty solid option. Should play his regular minutes. They're going to need him to have a really good game to stay close. So Luka 11K, even with Porzingis being back, he is limited. So still Luka has a very good ceiling. We saw that last game against Charlotte. Obviously, much easier matchup, but this is the kind of game that he could still have with Porzingis back. Everyone else, I think James Johnson's worth a mention. Kleber, I expect him to be out again. But with Porzingis still being limited, James Johnson still has a pretty good path to at least in the mid-20s for minutes, and he's really productive when he's out there. Willie Cauley-Stein, he's okay, 4,500, but he just doesn't have that great of a ceiling, especially when there's Brook Lopez and Giannis. From Milwaukee's side, I like Giannis the most out of the main three guys, just because at 10.8K, it's very reasonable. Like, I prefer Giannis over Luka. He's $200 cheaper. He's the more productive fantasy player, so I like Giannis more. And then everyone else, like, I just don't really think that they're that great. Like, these guys, they're kind of expensive from where they're used to. Memphis side, John Moran is questionable. He might be back, and if he were to somehow not be limited, he's going to look excellent, but I expect him to probably be capped, so probably not going to be playing him, but keep an eye on him. Valanciunas, either way, I'm going to like him. Minnesota's been very bad. They're like the worst team against centers, and Jovel is someone who has monster upside. He finally showed it last time. As long as he's not in foul trouble, he's not in a blowout, he's going to have a monster 50, 60 point ceiling. And John Morant being back, that probably helps him because he's not someone who's going to rely on handling. He's not going to handle the ball. So John Morant can definitely feed him the ball a lot better. For everyone else, though, like if Jaw's back, it's just not going to be really appealing. Like Melton, Grayson, now these guys are in the 3Ks, but they've been priced up, and with Jaw possibly back, it's just not going to be on him or them. So Minnesota side, Towns, I'm still going to really like him. 9,900. Ricky Rubio is going to be out, so that can help the rest of these guys. Towns at 9,900, I just think is still too cheap. He has monster stealing. He has a monster stealing. Memphis, they haven't been great against centers either, so I really like Towns 9,900. He still looks really good on this slate. D'Angelo, Beasley, they're priced up. I think they're not going to be core plays just because Ricky Rubio being out. Yeah, it helps, but they're already priced up so high that like it's tough to get to him with any confidence. Anthony Edwards, I think he's worth the tournament look because with Rubio out, Edwards is someone that subs in and plays a lot with Rubio, so you're gonna get most likely someone with a lot lower usage, a lot less ball handling. So it's gonna mean more shots, more opportunity for Edwards, and he's pretty cheap at 4,500. Chicago, OKC, this is a pretty appealing game. Chicago is top 5 in pace right now, so it's going to help, obviously, OKC side. Zach LaVine, it's tough to get to him when he's priced close to 10K. Kobe White's a little bit expensive, but he definitely has a pretty good ceiling. Wendell Carter, he's okay. OKC rebounds pretty poorly. So 6,200, I don't really think he's a core player either because Markkanen is expected to be back. Markkanen, because he has missed quite a bit, he might be limited, but 5,900, if he's not limited, he's definitely going to be a tournament play. And Otto Porter, 5,800, he's probable currently. His minutes haven't been that great, and with Lauri Markkanen being back in, it definitely doesn't help his outlook, but he's someone who can still get there in like 30 or close to 30 minutes at 5,800. The OKC side, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander looks really good. Chicago has been very bad defensively. They play at a fast pace, so this is going to be really good for SGA. 7,700 is too cheap. Like, he's priced higher on other sites when it was a worse matchup, so SGA looks like probably one of the best plays on the slate. Basically, I'm going to like him a lot too if he's able to play. 5,700 is just too cheap for this matchup, and if he's out, then it's going to make SGA just way better of a play. And if he's out, then they might start Pokuševski. They've subbed in like Diallo for Baisley before when like in their previous games, so it's not like a lock that Poku's gonna start. So keep an eye on that, but it's kind of a wait and see for these other guys other than SGA, who is just gonna be one of the better plays. Atlanta side, Trae Young, his price tag is just way too cheap. I've said it on the last time, so unfortunately that game was postponed. Against Utah, it's a very tough matchup. Mike Conley, Mitchell, just both very good on-ball defenders, and Gobert, obviously a great paint protector. But Trae Young, he's someone who can get hot from behind the line. So it just takes like, oh, if he makes like a couple shots from deep, they're just gonna have to play him up. It's gonna open up the entire game. So I really like Trae Young because he's just so cheap. 8,700 just still looks pretty solid. It's more of a price play. Collins, Capella, they look pretty good. I prefer Collins because he has just more offensive ability to his game. Cam Reddish, someone that I like as well, 4,800. Just with some of these injuries, Reddish is just gonna have more minutes, more usage to go around. So 4,800, he definitely has a good opportunity for a ceiling game. Utah side, Donovan Mitchell's priced up. I kind of wanted to play him because Atlanta, you could definitely see like Mitchell go toe to toe with Trae, but his price is a little bit too high. Gobert, I like him, 7,800. Atlanta's been a lot better against big men, but Gobert's usually like a lock for a double double with 2 blocks. So this is a pretty good matchup, pace up. So I do have a lot of interest in Gobert. Conley, 6,900. Not someone I'm usually like happy to roster. Like he's not an exciting play, but again, Trae Young, he's not a good defender. He's one of the worst point guard defenders in the league. So I like Conley. He's actually been pretty productive this year. Joe Ingles is out again, so that helps him with more ball handling for the guys who are left, like Conley, Clarkson, Mitchell. Bojan Bogdanovic is someone I have to mention. He has a low floor, but he does have a 40-point ceiling, and it is Atlanta who they do play pretty big with Collins and Capella, so they're not going to really contest the 3-point as well. So it definitely helps for a guy like Bojan, and again, Ingles being out, it helps his minutes as well. Now for New Orleans, they're still going to be missing Lonzo. Bledsoe's currently questionable. So Ingram, Zion, they're going to they need to do a little bit more. Tough match against the Lakers, but they're going to have to rely on these two guys if they're going to have any chance to win this game or stay competitive. So I do have interest in Ingram and Zion. I prefer Ingram over Zion just because I think without Lonzo, there's more assist upside for Ingram. And then if Bledsoe were to play, probably not going to be limited because it's an eye injury. I do have a lot of interest in him. Without Lonzo, he's going to have to handle the ball a lot more. Tough matchup, but his price, 5,700. This is a price that we get when Lonzo's healthy, so it is a discount. Josh Hart, he's okay, but Zion being back, it pushes Ingram back to the 3, so the minutes, the usage just hurts all these other guys. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he's someone who is going to be a lot more interesting if Bledsoe misses. If Bledsoe does play, there's still going to be minutes and opportunity for Walker, especially since he played so well last game, but it's just not as great of a play now. Redick, he's okay, 3,800. He's going to get a lot more opportunity, more shots, so he's okay for tournaments as a value play. For the Lakers side, I think this game can be more competitive than the usual games. Like the past, they've been a little blowouts. So if that is the case, then AD and LeBron under 10K, they're going to look pretty good if they do play their usual mid-30s a minute. So AD, LeBron definitely have some tournament exposure. If one of them misses, then yeah, of course, you have Schroeder, Harrell, the usual guys. The Clippers side, they do have some injuries. Beverly and Lou Will are both questionable right now. If they both miss, Luke Kennard definitely is going to benefit. If it's just one guy, probably not going to go to either or because Bev's price is a little bit too high. They still have George and Kawhi available, so just not guys I'm going to be very confident in. I prefer Kawhi over George just because he's only $200 more, and the match against the Kings, it's a really good one. The Kings play really fast. They're one of the worst defensive teams. Like they've allowed, I think, the most points so far out of all 30 teams in the league. So I'm gonna like Kawhi. For the Kings side, De'Aaron Fox, he still looks really good at 8,100. The Clippers defense hasn't actually been that great, especially against point guards. And if Beverly misses, that's gonna bump up Fox even more. Buddy Hield's probable. He had a good game. He's always going to be low owned, but he's someone who can contribute across the board, and we know he's a great shooter. So if he catches fire, this is definitely a price that can pay off pretty well. Bagley, 5,400. They're pretty set on closing with Halliburton, so Bagley's just tough to get to, and especially with the Clippers defense being pretty solid against big men actually this year. So for the entire slate, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's going to be my favorite play on the slate as of right now. And then if Bledsoe's going to play, I like him. If Bledsoe's out, then you just make the switch to Nickeil Alexander-Walker. For power forward, the best spend of option is going to be Giannis. And then for center, Jonas Valanciunas. And then Boston, probably going to be short-handed, so I'm going to put in Peyton Pritchard. depending on the lineup, obviously, you can swap Bledsoe for Nah, Pritchard for Teague. So for right now, on the night before of the slate, that's going to be the core 5. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like before you go. Subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, make sure you follow me. You can ask me below in the comments. @BobFulls is my Twitter. And as usual, good luck on this slate, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.